Most definitely. As far as like for you guys, what were like your first introductions to like music like around the house? Like for you, I don't know if you've like had like a CD that you guys like first bought, or if you found like your first song from like listening to the radio or just like listening at home and all that. So
Yeah, I feel like Kay said, my grandma playing like gospel music on her CDs and stuff like that. That stuff really stuck with me. My dad also played a lot of music, mainly reggae and dancehall, and that's what a lot of my childhood was about. But gospel and dancehall and reggae really. So I didn't have a lot of R&B and hip hop in my life till I really got older and I was like allowed to watch what I wanted to watch and get time to see BT and much music. And once that did happen, I was like super invested, and I was like, I want to do that. I was just captivated by everything that I was seeing, absolutely everything. And my first CD that really made me fall in love with music for real, would be Boyz II Men. Boyz II Men, their CD, Evolution, amazing. That shit changed my life. And I was like maybe 12 at that point. 12, okay?
Yeah.
So like that I feel like it took me a long time to actually really fall in love with music in that kind of way, to hear the way that they just layered their harmonies and the art that was put behind that project for me just changed my life. And like I always fuck with what was going on. Destiny's Child, Alicia Keys, all of that stuff. I loved it. Fucking Pretty Ricky, their sexy ass. You know, that project really did it for me. I was like, yeah, I want to do that. And that's why I always wanted to be in like a group. I knew I didn't want to be a solo artist just because of that. Yeah. Here we are.
Well, child, anybody who know me from like childhood could tell you that I've legit like been doing and like living in this realm of like performance and sharing through music and stuff like that. Literally ever since I can remember, like me and my cousins used to put on a Christmas performance every year at my Grammy house, and this was something that we would like literally like we'd get when we saw each other in the summertime when we were off school. We would like start talking about like what our performance is gonna be for when we having our Christmas party. And my Grammy, like, God rest her soul, she was one of those people where she was like very like tough love, so like you ain't really gonna hear her say too much like sweet things, but her action was very strong. So like we'd be like, oh Grammy, we want to put on a play. She's like, play? What y'all put on an play for? But then like 2 weeks later, she invite all of her sisters. She telling everybody that you gotta come. She making food. She'll like rent a bouncing castle, ice cream. Like she will like deck it out, but then like sit there nonchalant and like, yeah, you know, and just like being living in that, I guess, space where I had like adults who just like allowed me and like went along with the foolishness, went along with the like, oh, Grandma, I have an idea I want us to have a band. We didn't have no instruments, you know. We said, but we want to do a band. And so like all of us was playing air. One was playing air guitar. One was playing air drums. One was playing air whatever it was. And like we were like fully encouraged to just like be ourselves in that way. And then like performance wise, like actually like getting on the stage, I feel like my first performance, I was in, I can't, maybe grade 4, and we were doing a church play. And again, like I said, I was very shy, so like anybody outside of my house wouldn't know that I'm the dramatical, loud ass person that I am. So my Grammy kept like trying to like encourage me to like, oh, tell them you want to sing something, sing a part or whatever. And this one lady, Miss Archer, who knew I could sing, she's like, yeah, let her do this part here. And there was a solo in the play. And I remember singing it for the first time, and like when I was done the solo, everybody's like, "Oh my god, I didn't know you could make all that noise," because I was always so quiet. And for me, I feel like that moment was like, I don't know, it just felt like I felt like I could be my true self and have people like see it for a beautiful thing versus like judging and picking apart. And I always felt more comfortable expressing like truly on a stage versus like sitting down one-on-one like this, if that makes sense. Like I'll get freaked out about, or I used to get freaked out about singing like amongst a small group of people versus like going on a stage with like hundreds, thousands. I'd be like, yeah, piece of cake, yes, I'm motherfucking make these people scream and holler, yes, show them what it is, and then walk off and go sit down quietly like nothing happened. But yeah, music, performance has always been. Oh, I lied. My answer go end right now. So my very, 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 very first memory of wanting to be on stage was I was 4. I was 4, and my oldest sister, she was in this dance troupe. I think I told you this story. She was in this dance troupe, this community dance group or whatever. And I remember they had this big performance where like a bunch, like maybe 50 kids, something like that, and like a bunch of the parents and all the schools came together. This big show, like it was like a concert, but like for children, dancing, singing. They was telling jokes, like it was this whole production. I remember sitting in the audience and watching my sister perform, and I feel like that was the moment of like, oh, whatever that is, that's what I want to do. And then it just like snowballed from that moment. Yeah.
When I was like 4, I forget. As you said that, I remembered like trying to like sing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star at my grandmother's wedding around that age, and like totally running off stage. Like the stage was not my friend. Like it's only now that I'm comfortable on stage, but it took me a really long time to get there.
Yeah. No, most definitely. Like usually more on a serious note too, like to actually like capitalize like off that shit and all that. How did you get into like making music, seriously, or just like even like just like writing like in that sense too?
That's a hard question for me because I feel like that has changed so much since you go.
Okay. I guess for me it was probably like 8th grade-ish. That's when like I think we were in like a song music class and we had to like write a song for they brought in a songwriter and all that kind of stuff. And so we had to write a song, and that was probably the first song that I ever wrote with like one of my she was my friend at the time. And we wrote a song together, and because before I didn't think that like I would be a songwriter. I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna just get somebody to write some music for me. I'm gonna just sing, do it like that. But like after that, I was like, okay, like I can write music, and then like I got a keyboard, started messing around with that, wrote my song on the keys, performed that in school, like a few years later, and yeah, I've been writing my own music ever since. I haven't really been like a super like cover person. I've always just been into like my own music. I fuck with that shit the long way.
Yeah, I feel like I've always been writing my own music too. I feel like there was a point where I even like, because like I said earlier, music has always been a means of like me being able to like completely express myself like uninhibited, and so for a long time I couldn't even like have people in a studio session with me. Like I'm still kind of like that now, but it was more so back then because I was like I felt so vulnerable in the writing process. Like I'm literally spilling my
like a diary
guts out on this song, and like people in here fucking talking about the weather outside. No. But yeah, I feel like I've always been a writer, always been into that.
It took me getting into poetry first, I think, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna turn my poems into music. I really wanted to rap though. Like I wanted to rap so bad.
It's weird because I feel like I knew, like I tell you, from that moment, 4 years old, I knew that stage performance expression in that way like was what I was meant to do. I felt it, and I feel like as cycles of life change and like people expect you to like grow up and like grow out of things and whatever. Like I remember there's two people in my class who I remember to this day that like were saying they wanted to be whatever and actually like did that. There was this one boy, Rashad, in grade 1. I remember this vividly. This boy used to draw airplanes on everything. He wanted to be a pilot. 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 Shout out to you, Rashad. This Rashad, I remember we graduated from high school, gone, whatever. I hadn't seen him in a couple of years. Next time I saw him was at the airport. He wasn't a pilot, but he was working baggage claim. I said, oh shit, you love airplanes that much? You working? He said, yeah, man, I just started working. Okay, cool. A couple years after that, I come off the plane. Who's the pilot? And I was like, you fucking like he literally. From I could remember, he was saying he wanted to be a pilot straight from grade 1, kindergarten, probably all the way high school. Like that was he was focused on. That's what the fuck he was doing the last time Yeah. And like funny enough, I always used to tell people that I wanted to be a teacher, and a teacher, but not in the sense of like the traditional sense. Like I knew that, but I didn't really know how to express saying that what it is, and I feel like the way that I teach is through my expression and whatever. So yeah, full circle and things.
Yeah.